Alright guys, we're going to do a little training on the contactor of the condenser. So just take off your service panel here. And right here is where you can see the contactor. Now the purpose of the contactor is to send voltage from the incoming across the contactor and then out to your fan motor, the condenser fan motor, and your compressor. So the blue wire here and the yellow, that is your 24 volts incoming for the coil. So when 24 volts is applied, it will close the contact points. Now this one's what's called a single pole. It's just on this side, it's just got a bar straight through. This side has got the contact points. So this one is a single pole. So when 24 volts is called from the thermostat, this will close and send the voltage up and start the condenser. Now let me try to demonstrate that here. I'm going to take one side of the coil off, and you can hear it and see it clicking in. So it does that when it's calling for cooling, and it sends the power. So your incoming power, which I haven't disconnected, but this is your whip from the disconnect, comes up to here and then feeds power to the bottom of the contactor, 240 volts. When that closes, sends the 240 volts up. So things that can go wrong with your contactor is your contactor points can get pitted, badly pitted and burnt. This is a new contactor, but if you look at yours and you just see all black all around these points, it's probably best to replace it. If they get too bad, they won't send the voltage up across it. And also, if they get too bad, they can arc and spark and just weld themselves shut, so that the condenser will just run all the time, even though your thermostat calls, disconnects the voltage, the 24 volts, it'll still supply power if it's stuck closed. The other thing that can go wrong is the coil. It's just copper wire, just wound and wound and wound, and that creates a magnet, so that when 24 volts is applied, creates that magnet, sucks that thing in there. So if the coil goes bad, that's also another thing. So if the points are bad, coil's bad. The points, again, you can take your voltage reading on the bottom and then take it on the top. If you have 240 here but you don't have that there, or if you have less than that, then you need to replace your contactor because the points are bad. Now let's take some readings off the contactor coil here. So we're gonna see if I can get this positioned right. So we're gonna go on either side of this contactor, test the coil. And we've got about 11 ohms. I'm going to put it to where my ohms sounds off, gives me a verbal or an audible sound. And yeah, it's about the same, about 11, 12 ohms. So that'll tell you the coil's good if you have resistance like that. Now, if you do the same thing and you get that OL, then the coil's bad, it's open if you get that OL. Now, if you do the same thing and you get, you know, close to 0, like right there's 0.2, that's going to be a direct short. And what's going to happen is, if you got a short, then it's probably going to blow the fuse on your circuit board in the furnace. It's a little 3 or 5 amp, and it's a car fuse, really, is what it is. It looks just like a car fuse. The other thing I've seen happen is the incoming 24 volt wire. Dogs will come and they'll just chew the heck out of everything, and they'll chew that wire, short it, and blow a fuse on the circuit board, the control board on the inside. So those are things that can go wrong. So just remember, when if the condenser doesn't come on, you know, check your 24 volts incoming. Which I do. Now if you don't, you're gonna have to go back through the thermostat training video and figure out why you're not getting the 24 volts. And the other reason that you may not, if you have a condenser like this that has pressure switches, let me take this off. So on the inside there are two pressure switches, one on the low side, one on the high side. The one on the low side, which is a suction, if you lose freon, the pressure drops real low and that'll open, preventing the condenser from coming on. On the high side, on the little pipe, if the pressure gets too high, for example, if your fan motor is not working, then that'll open up and shut down the condensing unit. It'll disconnect power to the contactor. So here is my incoming thermostat wire, and if you remember the thermostat trading video, I was showing you where it comes out here to the condenser, and you've got one side which will be on the Y terminal on the control board. The other side will be on the common. And typically for condensers without pressure switches, this wire will come and connect directly to the coil of the contactor, and all the connections would be in here. This one, not even sure why they have them out here, but they would typically be in here. And if you don't have pressure switches, then these white and red is just going to go directly on each side of the contactor coil. But in this case, you got the blue comes in here, connects to the thermostat wire. The other side, the yellow, that's going to go through those two pressure switches, so it'll go into one, come out one, go into the other, come out the other, and then come back here where it ties into the red. So if, like I said, if those pressure switches are open, then it's going to disconnect power to the contactor. So you just got to look, see if you have those. If not, your 24 volts is going to be directly tied up. And like I said, if you don't have the 24 volts, then it's not going to close the contact. You've got to go inside and find out why, whether the fuse is blown, whether the wire got chewed up, whether the thermostat's not working properly. So just watch that thermostat video. So I'm going to go ahead and plug back in the disconnect here. And the air conditioner came on. So the contactor was already closed because it's calling for cooling. So you'd come out here down to the bottom and you got your 240 volts. You come up to the top and you should have your same voltage. If it's less, then your contact points are probably really pitted, and if you don't have enough voltage going through, it's not going to start the motors. So again, you got it on the bottom. If you don't have it on the top, your contactor's bad. Now if you do have 24 volts on the contactor coil, if you have that and it's not closing, then your coil is probably bad. You're probably reading that, you'll probably read that OL that I was telling you about on the coil. So the coil probably just burned up and it's no longer working. So again, you'd have to replace your contactor. And that's probably about it. We're going to go through the wiring after a bit on another video, and we're going to show you where the compressor wires go to and things like that. And at some point I'm going to show you, for example, your schematic. It'll show you exactly where your wires go to. The OD fan motor, that's your outdoor fan motor. You can see exactly where these wires go to. This is your contactor, and you've got your yellow on one side, you've got your blue on the other side of the coil. That is a symbol of a coil. That thing here is a symbol of open contacts, and when you get your power 24 volts, then that'll close. But you can go through, this is your compressor, and see where everything goes. You can see all that on your schematic, so I might cover that just a little bit. But I think that will conclude the contactor portion. So we'll see you on the next video. Guys, I just wanted to show you this schematic real quick. Again, you've got your different components. This is your fan motor, this is your compressor, this here is your contactor. So again, starting from Y at the control board, you can kind of just trace, and it comes up here, goes through the low pressure cutout, comes out of low pressure cutout, comes back this way, and this just basically means it's wire netted together. So then you come back and come over here to blue, one side. Did I trace that right? No, I don't think I did. Let's see, here it comes in here. Yeah, it comes up this way, sorry about that. Comes this way, goes into the high pressure cutout, out of the high pressure cutout, and that's your the other side of your contactor. The blue one here, that's going to be your common on the control board. So here you got the Y1 and the common, and these two are for the coil out here. But like I said, if you don't have these, don't worry about it. Your yellow and the common would just come and tie directly on either side. But you can see on the compressor, you got your black wire that comes to this side of the contactor. You got your red that comes over to the other side. That supplies, so that both of these supply your 240 volt. And then the orange comes over here to your capacitor. And the same thing with the fan motor. You got your black that comes to one side of the contactor. You got your purple, and that comes to the capacitor. But you, like I said out there, you can have your purple connected to your contactor, because as you can see, there's a red wire that goes to the common on the capacitor. So you can either have that purple there or here. It's taking its power from the same place. And then your brown is on the other side of your capacitor. So take yours, just kind of look at it, play with it, follow things around, and you can, you know, if you take wires off and you forget where they go, well, you can come back to your schematic and see where those wires go to. That's it for now, guys. Thanks.